Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday, the 11th of December, the week before Star Wars The Force Awakens comes out in the cinema. And I've not done a video for over a month now, but I've been busy picking up lots of little bargains here, there, and everywhere for all my friends so I can show you what I've got, see if you like them. That's friends in America, friends over here. So we're going to start off. I was in Southport this week for 3 days in England, which is near Liverpool and Blackpool. It's a little seaside resort. Went for a mini break, and I got a few bargains in there. Starting off with one of them's a DVD box set, not Blu-Ray, a DVD. It's a television show made in the mid to late 90s. 3 seasons they made, 6 episodes each, starring Kathy Burke and James Dreyfus. We are, of course, talking about Gimme Gimme Gimme. It's basically James Dreyfus as a gay man who shares a flat with Kathy Burke, who's basically sex mad, and they're the two neighbours underneath, and they live in this bedsits of all this block of flats. It's crude, it's full of toilet humour. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I remember it. It's good fun. If you like a good laugh, all 3 seasons. I got it in a age concerned charity shop. It only costs £2.50, so it's not too bad. Something to watch on a cold dark night. Then while I was in Blackpool, I went to my local CEX because I have an account there, so I can swap and trade films. I picked up Diary of the Dead. It's upstairs. I forgot to bring it down, which is the 5th part in the George Romero set of zombie films. He first made Night of the Living Dead, then he made Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, then he did Land of the Dead, and then he made Diary of the Dead, which I've got upstairs. I am also going to order Survival of the Dead, which is the last one he made. And I only paid £1.50 for it, so I haven't got a picture to show yet, but it's a good old zombie film. I love my zombie films, as you know. So that's Diary of the Dead. That's more camcorder held footage one. Then while I was there, they did a remake of Day of the Dead a few years back, starring Mira Sorvino and Ving Rhames. And there we go. I picked that up for £1.50. It's alright, it's not the best. It takes the story of Day of the Dead, but it does its own spin on it, and it was only £1.50. While I was there, this film came out in America last year. It was called The Young Ones, and we're not talking Cliff Richard here, we're talking the young boy. His name is Nicholas Hoult. He played Jack the Giant Slayer a couple of years back, and then he was in Mad Max Fury Road. Now in this film he plays a young lad who falls in love with a girl, and her father owns a farm. It's just on the edge of the apocalypse, and water's the main commodity. Now because of his success in Mad Max Fury Road, some Mark in a studio decided to change the title from The Young Ones to Badland Road to Fury, as in Fury Roads. See the tie-in? I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's alright, but if it's crap, £2.50, trade it back in. So that's Badland, The Road to Fury. So give that a go. Now, recently, Asda had a deal on £8 each or 2 for £10 Blu-rays, and I thought, well, yeah, I might as well get some for a couple of quid and everything. And I've been looking for this set. I've already got them on DVD, but it came up and I thought it's a bargain. And we are talking of the late great Wes Craven, who died this year in 2015, decided to make his own version of a slasher film after Freddy, and we are talking about Scream, the Scream trilogy, which is obviously Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3. Now originally Scream was going to be called Scary Movie, but the producers of the Scary Movie didn't like that they were going to use their title, so Wes Craven just came up with the title of Scream. Now it harks back to all the slasher films, the whole trilogy from the 70s and 80s, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Burning, all these things are all combined. The first film's a classic. It's really, really good. The second one, not too bad. The third one, pretty good. I enjoyed it. Scream 4, which I have on DVD, I got half an hour into it and ejected. Didn't like it at all. Didn't enjoy it, what I've seen of it. So I might have to try and revisit it again. But the Scream trilogy was part of 2 for £10. So I only paid £8 technically for that. And I couldn't think what to get. So because I haven't got the sequel on a hard copy, these are hard copies, I've only got it on a download. I decided to pick up Despicable Me 2, The Minions, and Gru and his trilogy of little girls. I like the Minions, they're fun. Really good laugh. If you're bored or whatever, put it in, especially if you've got kids, stick it on, the kids love it. And I like these, and I've seen the Minions movie, it's really fun. So, the both of that, like 4 Blu-rays for a tenner, I'm not moaning. Good deal. And recently, on Amazon, I was ordering something, and if I'd have ordered something less or more, I'd have had to pay a load of packaging, but this came with it where you get free postage and packaging. So I decided to go and revisit a couple of old horror classics from the 70s and 80s. The first one I picked up, I remember seeing this at a all-night horror-thon in the ABC Deansgate in Manchester with couple of mates, because the ABC Deansgate used to have, before these Shock Around the Clocks and Black Sundays and all these film festivals like Comic Con and all that, the ABC Deansgate used to run once a month on a Friday night, Saturday. It was only £5 in. They all started at 10:30 and used to show 5 films, all various films from the 70s and 80s. And it was only a £5 to get in. Most people go in and fell asleep because they were drunk. But me and my mates used to go every time it was on. Spent a £5 in to watch all these films. I remember seeing this film on the big screen because I'd only ever seen it on the telly or video. My brother talked about it, my late brother Tommy Hayes. And we're talking about Brian De Palma's classic Stephen King's rendition of Carrie, starring Sissy Spacek and I always forget her name, Piper Laurie, and a very young John Travolta. And if you've ever seen Carrie, you'll know the story. The remake with Chloe Moretz, whatever her name is, not very good. This is a bona fide classic. It's scary. It's amazing. And the ending is just fantastic. If you've never seen Carrie, check it out. That was 2 for £8 as well. The second one I picked up was from the mid-80s. I went to the cinema to see this, and it was a remake of a 1950-odd film starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis, who were married at the time. They were an actual married couple. And we are talking, of course, of David Cronenberg's ultra-classic The Fly. Now, a lot of people don't like The Fly because it's gory, but it's not really gory as such. It's got gore in it. It's actually a tragic love story. It is a great film. Absolutely fantastic movie. Jeff Goldblum becomes obsessed with teleportation. So he wants to go from one to the other. And she's a reporter who falls in love with him. And it's heartbreaking to see him go through this transformation because it was a mistake, it was an accident, it shouldn't have happened, but it did. And she can't do anything about it. And it is pretty gory, it's pretty sick and yucky. But as a film, it's a great, great love story. And even though it's a horror film, there's a lot of love in it, and I love the film. So there you go, The Fly. That was part of my 2 for £8. Then again, I went to CEX again, and I picked all these 5 films up. Start off, the first 3 or 4 were only a couple of quid, £1.50 each. We're talking Danny Boyle's Slumdog Millionaire. When I first watched this, I heard lots of reports, and I thought, oh, do I want to watch it about a couple of Indian kids running around the slums of Mumbai, you know. But you get right into it, and it's great. It's how a young lad gets a chance to go on the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it is really funny. It's exciting. It's got action. It is great. And I'm glad Danny Boyle got the Oscar because it's richly deserved for all he's done. And he's from Manchester, so you can't beat it. That's Slumdog Millionaire, £1.50. Then I picked up another Oscar winner made by Catherine Bigelow and starring James Renner, who's now famous for the Mission Impossible movies. We are talking, of course, the Iraqi War classic, The Hurt Locker. It's got a minor role with Guy Pearce in it. It's basically about a man who's worked on a bomb unit in Iraq, and his job is to go and defuse the bombs. But he gets a kick out of it, and he enjoys going. People get killed. It's really, really good, but it's a great story. It won the Oscar for a reason. It's scary. It's good. Not scary in a horror way, but scary about war. I would recommend everybody watch The Hurt Locker. Great film. £1.50. Next, I paid £2.50 for this one. This director is Hit and Miss. Hit and Miss. You can take him or leave him. The director we're talking about is M. Night Shyamalan, who made The Village. He made Signs with Mel Gibson, and then he also made The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis. Now, The Sixth Sense is a great film. If you've never seen it, avoid anyone telling you what it's about, because there's a big twist in it, and if you've never seen it, you don't see it coming. It's a great film. The Village was great for the first 40 minutes. Then it went, I don't know what happened to it. Then he made The Last Airbender, which was turd. Then he made After Earth, which is even worse. Then he did another film called The Happening with Mark Wahlberg. Now, I've not seen this extended version. It's too shocking for the cinema, they said. But I have seen the original, and I like the idea, and I liked the beginning to first hour of it. I'm going to have to revisit it properly, because basically it's about nature and how nature has a cruel way or a good way of making things happen. And I can't give too much away for it. It's just that there's a lot of suicides happening and nobody knows why. But it's well worth it. Give it a go. You might not like it. I thought it was alright for the first half. I'm going to give it another go, see if I like the last half. That's M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. Next up is a film from the mid to late 90s starring Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater, and a very old Ed Asner, who played Lou Grant in the 70s, like Ed Asner, good bloke. We're talking about Hard Rain. Oh, and Randy Quaid's in it before he went mad as an actor. It's basically about a small town. Christian Slater and his uncle, played by Ed Asner, are security guards who have to take a truckload of money to a destination. But they hit a small town just as a huge monsoon's about to happen. And they get caught in this village that's flooding. Entertaining more would spoil it, but it's a pretty good film. Lots of action in it. It's worth watching. That's Hard Rain. That was only a couple of quid. And lastly but not least, Ridley Scott. I like Ridley Scott. He's brilliant. He's British. He's fantastic. His last film, The Martian, what a movie. What a fantastic movie. One of my top 3 of the year, which I'm going to review soon, of my top 10 films, best ones of the year, and my top 10 crap ones of the year. Coming soon in about a week or so or less. We are talking about last year's. Christian Bale was in this one. Big, huge epic, filmed on Gran Canaria and Tenerife. We're talking about Exodus, Gods and Kings. It's Ridley's another sand and sandal films, as in like God and Jesus. Sigourney Weaver's in it, Ben Kingsley. There's a huge cast. Even Jesse from Breaking Bad, Aaron James, is in it. He's good in this as well. Basically, Christian Bale plays Moses about the Ten Commandments, but it's Ridley's spin on it all. Very good little film. I enjoyed it. The only thing I was expecting about the Red Sea and the parting of the waves and all that, Ridley did it differently. That's all I can say. But it's better than Noah, which came out the same year with Russell Crowe, about the ark and that. That was just shit. Really bad. But Exodus, Gods and Kings, it's a long one, but it's Ridley. He's done Gladiator, he's done Blade Runner, he's done The Martian, he's done amazing films. He's British. What's not to like? It's good, it's fun, it takes 2.5 hours, enjoy it. So there you go, that's my little pickups for the past month. Sorry I've not been in touch or on YouTube or anything for ages, but I hope you enjoyed a little video. If I don't do one before Christmas, but I will do, I'll promise, enjoy what you're doing over the Crimbo and have a safe time to everyone. See you all soon. Bye.